Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something, well, incredibly ambitious. We aren't just looking at a single scientific concept or some historical event, we're actually going to map out our exact place in the universe. We're going to look at the fundamental blueprint of reality, how everything interacts, and most importantly, where we fit into that grand design. So, if you've ever looked at the world and wondered how it all connects, you are absolutely in the right place.
Here's a quick roadmap for our journey today. We're going to hit 6 key stops. 1. Harmony in nature. 2. The 4 natural orders. 3. Defining natural activity. 4. Comparing the orders. 5. The interconnected web. And finally, 6. The human glitch.
All right, section 1, harmony in nature, the perfect system. Okay, let's dive right into this by defining the very baseline of our natural system. Because what do we actually mean when we say nature? When we talk about nature, we're really talking about the aggregate of all mutually interacting units. Literally everything, from the smallest grain of sand to the largest galaxy. And the defining characteristic of this massive collection? It's harmony. Harmony in nature is the dynamic balance and self-regulation among all of these units. Basically, nature operates on a perfect cause and effect system. It isn't random chaos. It's an infinitely complex, self-regulating machine. And for us to truly participate in it, we have to understand exactly how it regulates itself. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds very philosophical, but understanding this harmony is deeply, deeply practical. It's the literal blueprint for solving our greatest ecological crises. When we grasp this natural harmony, we uncover the solutions to things like global warming and the rapid depletion of non-renewable resources. It teaches us how to create self-sustaining ecosystems like forest gardens, how to naturally reduce building heat, and how to work with the environment instead of fighting it. It completely unravels the mystery of natural synthesis in the midst of what often just looks like ongoing chaos. To really understand that synthesis, we need to transition to the taxonomy of nature. Section 2. The 4 natural orders, a matter of scale. Let's zoom way out for a second and look at the sheer scale of the cosmos, categorized into 4 distinct orders. Everything in existence falls into one of these 4 orders, and the relative quantity here is absolutely mind-blowing. First, we have the material order. This is your soil, water, continents, planets, stars. This is by far the vastest in quantity. Next is the pranic or plant order, covering our land masses and oceans. It's massive, but still way smaller than the material order. Then comes the animal order, which is far, far smaller in quantity than plants. And finally, the human order. We are the absolute smallest order in existence. Think about that. The massive material order completely dwarfs the tiny fraction of reality that is humanity. Keep that scale in the back of your mind as we move forward. Now that we know what the orders actually are, let's shift our focus to how they operate. Section 3, defining natural activity, the operating code. Every single unit in these orders has an operating code, a constant state of activity. We define activity as something that has motion or has a result. It's the continuous state of interacting with the environment. Let me give you a really fascinating example from the source material. Think of a stationary wooden chair. To our naked eye, it isn't moving, right? But it is entirely active. The wood of that chair is constantly interacting with its environment, absorbing moisture, subtly shifting, and over time it decays. In nature, there is no such thing as true stillness. Absolutely everything is continuously active. Let's look at how this activity scales up across the 4 orders. In the material order, the basic activity is just composition and decomposition, atoms combining and breaking apart. Moving to the pranic, or plant order, we keep composition and decomposition, but we add respiration, pulsating, and breathing. Now notice what happens when we hit the animal and human orders. We introduce a whole new element. Conscious activity, or the I, the self. Animals add the conscious ability to select and assume. Humans take all of that, and we add desiring, thinking, and knowing. So the operating code builds from basic chemical interactions all the way up to complex human consciousness. Section 4, comparing the orders, building complexity. Let's slow down the pacing here for just a second. I really want to unpack the philosophical weight of how this consciousness evolves as we jump from one order to the next. Let's look at the jump from the pranic order to the animal order. Both of these orders share a physical reality. They both exhibit existence and growth. A plant respires, grows, and decays. While an animal's physical body does the exact same thing. In fact, the animal body essentially belongs to the pranic order. But the huge difference is the addition of the conscious I in the animal. While a plant just chemically recognizes and fulfills its needs, your pet dog has a conscious will to live. It can make assumptions, like recognizing a stranger walking up to the door, and select its behavior based on those specific assumptions. So the crucial point is what happens when we jump from the animal order to the human order. Again, our physical bodies are basically the same. We respire, we grow, we decay. Both humans and animals have a conscious I. But while an animal's eye is driven primarily by a basic will to live, the human eye is infinitely more complex. We possess desiring, thinking, and knowing. We aren't just driven by a will to survive. Our innate characteristic is a will to live with happiness. We have a fundamental built-in need for right understanding. So, we have these four distinct, incredibly diverse orders. But how do they interact? Let's pick the pace back up. Section 5, the interconnected web, mutual fulfillment. And this interconnectedness of the first three orders is just brilliant. Think about the flow between them. The material order provides the nutrients and soil to the pranic, or plant order. The plant order then prevents soil erosion, produces oxygen, and provides food for the animal order. The animal order, in turn, helps pollinate the plants, and its waste goes directly back into enriching the soil of the material order. It's a perfect, self-regulating, mutually fulfilling loop. Every single order gives exactly what the other orders need to thrive. Which brings us to the climax of this explainer. Section 6, the human glitch, breaking the chain. This perfect machine is running seamlessly until we introduce the fourth order. Let's see how the absolute smallest order is disrupting this massive cosmic system. I want you to pause for a second and honestly reflect on this question. Based on that beautiful cycle of mutual fulfillment we just talked about, where does humanity actually fit into this perfect machinery? Are we holding up our end of the cosmic bargain? Now, what's really interesting is exactly what happens when you plug the human order into this system. The source material highlights this glaring disconnect. We rely completely on the material order for minerals, the pranic order for food, and the animal order for labor and resources. We take from all three. But what exactly are we giving in return? According to our sources, right now, our impact is essentially a destructive footprint. Instead of enriching the material order, we're polluting the soil and rapidly depleting deep earth fossil fuels. Instead of nurturing the pranic order, we're destroying forests and driving plant species to extinction. And instead of coexisting with the animal order, we're making species extinct and exhibiting unprecedented cruelty. We are taking the perfect loop of mutual fulfillment and, well, breaking it at every single connection point. We have to remember a critical fact we established earlier. Our physical bodies literally belong to the plant and animal orders. We are fully dependent on the material, pranic, and animal orders to physically exist. Yet, out of the four orders in the known universe, we're the only one failing to ensure mutual fulfillment. By destroying the chain, we aren't just harming nature, we are actively destroying the very foundation of our own survival. But, it absolutely doesn't have to be this way. The source material provides a clear path forward with this powerful quote. To create harmony in nature, first of all, we have to work in the direction of development of mankind from animal consciousness to human consciousness. The solution lies in utilizing our unique human activity, our capacity for knowing. We have to move past the mere animalistic will to live and use our unique capacity for right understanding to consciously choose mutual fulfillment. And that leaves us with a choice, kind of the ultimate question for our species. Will we choose to use our unique human capacity for knowing and right understanding to repair this cosmic chain? Or will we stubbornly remain the glitch in the system, taking until there's just nothing left? The blueprint for a harmonious universe is already written. It's entirely up to us whether we decide to follow it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.